Alright, so today's piece is Hello Gold Mountain for Guzheng Voice, Oud, and Orchestra by Chinese-American composer Wu Fei. This piece was written in 2022, and the recording I'm going to be listening to is a chamber orchestra version, which was performed at a university, I believe, in a university context. The instrumentation is 2231-4330, timpani, percussion, piano, the aforementioned soloists, and strings. I don't have a number of percussionists, but the list of percussion instruments would be whip, tambourine, tubular bells, glock, snare drum, triangle gongs, cymbals, bass drum, whistle, chimes. I guess these are not tubular bells. These would be like wind chimes or something. Vibraphone, and then frame drum. And there's some text here, I guess because there's singing involved. And then there's as a performance note, we have the tuning of the guzheng. Wu Fei was born in Beijing in 1977. Studied at the China Conservatory of Music until 2000, then did a master's in composition at Mills College. She's a participant of the downtown New York improv scene, and she's worked with big names like John Zorn, Fred Firth, Guyan Riley, Carla Kilstedt, my mistake, Billy Martin, the Wu Force, and Abigail Washburn. And she obviously not only composes but is a virtuoso performer on piano and guzheng. On this piece, Hello Gold Mountain, it was premiered in 2019, inspired by the European Jewish refugees who fled eastward to Shanghai and then San Francisco. It was written for this ensemble called Chatterbird, and it featured like intersections of oud and guzheng, which are both plucked string instruments, representing like Jewish and Chinese voices in the case of this work. For those unaware, this is what a guzheng is. It's a plucked lap zither or harp. It has these tuning movable bridges that you can use to tune it. I guess it can be traced back to the Qin dynasty, so around 200 BC. In the Qing dynasty, this is like 17th through 20th centuries. The strings were made of silk, but modern strings are almost always nylon-coated steel. This was introduced in the 1970s. Traditional playing style is to pluck with the right hand and then manipulate the pitch with the left hand. So it's like, although it's a harp, it's almost like a monophonic instrument. Yeah, and just for the fun of it, this is a oud. For those who don't know, it's like the precursor to the European lute. It's usually like grouped in courses, so most strings you'll have two strings tuned to the same note, right? So here this oud pictured in the Wikipedia article has 6 courses and 11 strings, because the lowest course just has the 1 string. So yeah, there you go. Okay, I think that's about all I'm going to say about this piece. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know the score a little bit here. The link to the recording I'm listening to is in the video description for those interested. And if you're interested in my opinions, just wait through this brief transition and I'll start talking about it. Okay, so I ended up finding a different recording. I was going to listen to another one but I realized there's a full orchestra recording as well by the Lehigh University Philharmonic. So, yeah, obviously the composer is on Guzheng in voice. In this recording, Shanir Ezra Blumenkranz was on oud, and then the conductor was Paul Salerni. And clearly Wu Fei is like very passionate about this piece and really enjoys playing it. It's really a pleasure to hear her and see her perform in it. And she fills a lot of roles. It's a very theatrical piece. She even gets to conduct the orchestra for a little while. Looking at the score was kind of interesting, just in the sense that it's very loose in the improvisatory sections. There's almost no direction given. And it's very straightforward in the composed sections. Like there's no in between. Looking at some like Earl Brown, which we've done in the past, there's like a little bit more like stuff that's in between improvised and composed, and there's more of a playfulness in the notation. Here it's really just like black or white, like either you're playing notated music or you're freely improvising at the direction of the composer. And I think it makes for an interesting like listener experience. But I also found that the at least for the first four movements or three movement, I guess the fourth movement has some composed stuff, but for the first three movements there is very scant like notated music, and it's really dominated by improv, and the notated stuff, it just doesn't sound nearly as interesting as the things that the two soloists were improvising, especially rhythmically. Like it's very, very square rhythmically. So it's a little bit jarring, I would say. But I did like some of the composed stuff, like the sixth movement I thought was very gorgeous in its own way. And if I can scroll to that here, there's an interesting use of piano throughout the piece, actually. And I liked, this moment here. It is kind of a just typical chord progression, but it's a little bit more developed than other sections of the piece. It even kind of modulates here. Obviously, my most favorite moments were like the solo and duo improvising stuff. That was the most sophisticated, and I think the like frame drum groovy improv was kind of fun too. But mostly I just think as a composer, what I would take away from this is like how to approach these non-Western instruments and their performance practice, and how much liberty you can really give them, and what this is what they excel at, is just improvising in, I've been saying free improv in the context of like how the score is laid out, but they actually improvise in clearly a very like structured, specific way. Like they have their own cultural like methods. So I like that sort of culture is preserved in this performance, and it really works well in communicating this narrative, which I think is the whole point. It's a very like narrative driven piece. So it's successful in a lot of ways, and it was a pretty easy listen today considering the duration of it. So hopefully this was interesting to you, and we're just gonna keep moving along with orchestra pieces of all types.